everyone, I'm Mark Scholaro, the owner of MS Classic Cars. Today, I'm presenting you an absolutely spectacular 1967 Chevrolet Camaro Custom built by Goolsby Customs in Alabama. This vehicle is powered by an Edelbrock E-Force LS3 416 pushing 720 horsepower, and it sits on a Roadster Shop spec chassis. It's time to rock and roll. Well, the first thing I'd like to say is this is a non-rehearsed video. There's going to be a lot of information here today that I'm sure I'm going to miss, so I would please ask to visit our website at msclassiccars.com for a full description with a ton of highly detailed photos. If you have or have not been following MS Classic Cars, please note that I only collect #1 and #2 condition vehicles. We're the only classic car dealership in the country who services everything we sell, and we document the work with an invoice. Regardless of who built the vehicle, whether it's factory correct or whether it's custom, all vehicles need to be sorted out, and that's what we do here at MS Classic Cars. And then after the service process, we spend countless hours detailing these cars from top to bottom. Once the cars are purchased, we really do a great job making sure that we handle all the paperwork, set up all the enclosed shipping. We even cover the car with a brand new plastic car cover once it gets loaded on the carrier. Just want to make sure I made that very clear. Every vehicle that we sell does include a brand new binder that I put together. I always keep everything that's included with the car in methodical order in the binder, as I've done here with this vehicle. Referencing the invoice, which again you can see in our photo gallery, it clearly documents that we invested $8,202.27 in this vehicle. So please make sure to check out the invoice of everything that we've done. This vehicle is truly ready for the new owner to enjoy. So normally in my videos, what I like to do is go over the story, then I like to talk about the exterior, talk about the interior, trunk compartment, engine compartment, and undercarriage, sitting inside the vehicle. What I would like to do today is quickly read something that was written by Goodguys in regards to this particular car, and then I'd like to get out of the vehicle and do it a little bit different in this video and actually do an exterior presentation along with the interior and then end at the engine compartment of the vehicle. So let's get ahead and get right into it. So this particular vehicle was recognized by everybody as the Goodguys giveaway grand prize car. This is a deal that you can Google on the internet. There's tons of videos about that all over the place. You can see numerous videos even of the car doing a huge burnout. You can see it at SEMA where it was revealed, et cetera, et cetera. So I would highly advise that you check out all that. we will be posting some of those links again within our gallery as well. So here's a statement from Goodguys. I am a member of Goodguys. For anybody that doesn't know, it's a huge car club, mostly custom vehicles, but they do some factory correct judging and so forth. It's an absolutely great company. Again, if you're interested in joining, I would highly recommend doing so. So here's what was said about this car. Few cars have had a big impact on the muscle car and performance car worlds as the Chevrolet Camaro. Other muscle cars and pony cars came before, but within months of its introduction in 1967, the Camaro was the undisputed favorite among enthusiasts. It has maintained its popularity for over 5 decades. Next paragraph. Considering its unquestionable popularity, not only to mention the nameplate 50th anniversary this year, it seemed fitting to build a first-year example of this street machine staple for the 2017-2018 Goodguys Grand Prize giveaway. We teamed up with artist Eric Brockmeyer for the design and Goolsby Customs to execute the build. Thanks to the generous support from some of our industry's top manufacturers, this sweet 1967 Camaro has become a standout street machine honoring Camaro's heritage while showcasing some of the best contemporary performance parts. That sums it up. This is an absolutely stunning car. At MS Classic Cars, we have had some of the best cars in the world. We're extremely proud of the vehicles that have been here, that we've sold to great people in great homes, and we've had many, many customs. Some of the shops that we've had cars that were built by are such as Custom Shop. We've had King Did It Design. We've had Rad Rods by Troy. We've had Ring Brothers, etc., etc. This particular vehicle is the first vehicle that I've ever owned from Goolsby. It is absolutely spectacular. I can't say enough about it, and I put it right into the category of the top builders in the country, and I would like to show you why. So I'm going to get out of the vehicle now. I'm going to do a full presentation, as I mentioned, and you will clearly see when we're done here why this vehicle is so special. Let's get right to it. Okay, so now what I'd like to do is an exterior presentation of this entire vehicle, tell you what I've learned about it. As we make our way over to the driver's door, I'm going to go ahead and open it and highlight some of the interior features. I'll do the same thing when I'm on the passenger side. We'll make our way over to the front here, and I will go over some of the details in the engine compartment, and then also touch base on some of the undercarriage custom features. Before I do that, if you have not heard of Goolsby Customs in Alabama, I would highly suggest that you check them out. They've got a great website. They have built some amazing cars over the years, extremely high quality. We even share a mutual customer, George Petit, who's very well known in the hot rod community. I think Jonathan told me when I spoke to him that he built him 3 vehicles, which says a lot just in that. So again, I want to give them a big shout out for doing one of the best custom cars that we've ever owned in MS Classic Cars history, which says a lot considering the spectacular cars that we've had. So let's make our way over to the vehicle here. I will say that life for this car started as a red Camaro. It had a 6-cylinder engine. There are pictures in our photo gallery that show what the car was before the restoration. A lot of times you don't get to see that when you're purchasing a classic car. In this case, you do. It was a great decision to save all those photos. It was a relatively solid car when they got it, as the photos document, so it does retain its original body. I'm referencing the roof, I'm referencing the rear quarters, and so forth. Even the doors were original to the car. What they did during the restoration process is they ordered a hood from year 1. It was a brand new hood. It's what they reference, a super sport hood. It's got these really great looking grille pieces here on this slight cowl, which was a super spectacular looking hood. So that was brand spanking new. They did actually add NOS front fenders to the vehicle as well. But again, a lot of the sheet metal on this vehicle is still original. They did some work to the firewall as well. They smoothed that out. They did a beautiful job. So again, the time that was spent on this body, which is evident in all the photos, is mind-boggling. Countless hours of prep. It has got to be one of the best bodied 1967 Camaros that we've ever seen. I've had factory correct first-gen cars. I've had custom first-gen cars. And this is clearly one of the best bodies and paint that I've ever had, which says a lot. So again, I'm referencing cars that we've sold in the $200,000, $250,000, close to $300,000 price range. This car's bodywork and paint is reflective of that. Getting into the design of the car, which makes this car very unique. Most of the time when you're talking about a custom car, a lot of the car builders will modify a lot of the components on the exterior. The goal behind this build, because it was in reference to the 50th anniversary for the Camaro, was trying to keep the car somewhat factory correct looking, but give it all of that modern technology. I think they nailed it. The great thing about this car is if you looked at it and you didn't really pay close attention to the wheels and the stance, the outside of this car looks very factory correct. I can't say enough about the idea behind the build. I thought they did a fantastic job. So we'll get into some of these features here. As I mentioned, the body is super straight. The gap lines are spectacular throughout the entire car. This is a butternut yellow color. This was a factory correct color. It is kind of a white yellow mixture. It's very soft. It's a super, super color. You don't see this color very often, which makes it truly unique. The black accents, like this bumblebee stripe that they have on the front here, really, really ties in nice together with the pieces here in the hood, and also the rear tail panel, which is all black. It just has that perfect color combination and so forth. Even the front grille is black, so it just ties in really nicely together. A couple things I want to mention here. These headlights, these are modern style headlights. You can see this divider here in the middle. These are the original bumpers on the vehicle. They had them re-chromed. They were modified slightly, so they are tucked in versus the factory bumpers. Of course, you'll see the lower front spoiler. You'll notice in our undercarriage pictures that they signed, the entire team at Goolsby signed the back of the spoiler, which is really cool. But again, a little bit of custom touches with the bumper, with the headlights, but they kept that factory look. In regards to the actual quality of the paint, as I said, it's spectacular. This is award-winning paint, in my opinion. I have this flashlight here, and what I'm gonna do is just quickly go over this to highlight any imperfections that this car might have. And I'm going to mention if I see anything, even if it's the size of a pin tip, I will mention it. There's nothing here at all, and this car has been driven a little bit. If you do see a few things in the camera, it's probably just a couple of dust particles. As an example, there's a few right here that I'm moving off with my finger, but I don't see anything worth mentioning. The bumper's beautiful, the grille's beautiful, all the trim work is beautiful. Again, super impressive. We'll make our way over now to the driver's side fender here. Again, laser straight, no dings, no dents, no scratches, no chips. While we were on the subject of the front fender, I think we should talk about these wheels. These are actually Billet Specialty wheels. These are 18-inch. They're referenced as B-Forged. If you go on their website and check them out, this is a really nice gray matte finish that they have on these wheels with a polished lip. I have all the dimensions in our listing as far as the width of the wheel. I think these are 10.5 and I think the rears are 12.5, but you better reference our notes to verify that information. And these tires that they use, these are BF Goodrich tires. They make great tires. These are references G-Force tires. They're 275/35 18s. And you can see behind the wheel are those massive brakes. Those are 14-inch bare 6-piston. That's what 6P is. 6-piston calipers. Those are some of the best brakes in the business. They completely fill this entire wheel here. I think that was a super choice. So again, absolutely spectacular. Making our way over to the windshield here. The windshield this was all brand new glass. When they did the restoration, they went with a tinted glass. It is all brand new throughout the entire car. There is a couple of tiny, tiny little spots in the glass. Again, this vehicle was driven roughly 5,000 miles. After the car was given away, Goodguys did a road tour with the vehicle. Again, it's all over the internet. You can check it out. So there's going to be a couple of the tiniest little imperfections, as you would expect with any car that has been driven a little bit. But the great news about this car is it's been well shaken down. And again, at MS Classic Cars, we went through it completely mechanically. So looking at these wiper arms here, they're super nice. They both sit very evenly here at the bottom. The cowl piece is in beautiful condition with these cowl vents. All of this stainless trim is original to the vehicle. It was all professionally restored. So you can see how nice it fits inside the body. Not always the case with these Camaros. The drip rail moldings are absolutely spectacular. The roof is flawless. Again, using my flashlight here, I don't see one single imperfection on this entire car. Our detailing staff at MS Classic Cars did a fantastic job putting it through its complete multi-process detailing system that we have here. These vents are spectacular. They're brand spanking new. This mirror's new. Getting down to the driver's door here, I don't see one single chip, one single scratch. You can see these gap lines are spectacular. A lot of times these cars, the bottom doesn't fit very well in the front or the back. You can see in this car it clearly does. The windows roll up and down extremely smoothly. I'll go ahead and just demonstrate that quickly. I'm using virtually zero effort. You see how tight it is at the top. When I roll up the back window, which also rolls up extremely smoothly as well, you'll see how nice and tight this is. Not always the case with these cars. Again, just because cars are built by well-recognized shops doesn't necessarily mean that everything is tight like this car is. So watch this. Shut the door. You hear that door shut and you see how nice this glass is all lined up here. They did a fantastic job. I know they referenced a lot of the companies that they used. I think Steel Products supplied all of the gaskets and so forth. So again, beautiful job with that. Why we're over here, as I mentioned, we're going to talk a little bit about the interior. The nice part about this car is, again, they wanted to keep it somewhat factory correct looking, so they follow the theme into the interior from the exterior. I thought they did a great job of customizing it, but not going too overboard. So M&M Interiors is the one who's responsible for doing all this. Prior to all the upholstery work and everything, the entire interior was wrapped with boom mat, which is an insulation that helps with noise and heat and things like that. So you can see pictures of that in our photo gallery, that they wrapped the entire cabin with that material. When we get into this leather here, I'm just going to sit down so I can kind of point some things out. We're talking about the dash pad. Again, they kind of simulated the factory look, but this is actually hand-stitched, beautiful leather here on this dash. The leather also is on these custom bucket seats, on the door panels. We got some real nice material here. Again, it looks like it's factory, but it's clearly not. It's a very soft leather. All these pieces, the door handles, window cranks, armrests, everything is brand spanking new and done to the highest level of quality. You can see the fit and finish is second to none here. Again, this was all professionally installed. This wasn't just taken out of a box and thrown together. Again, the seats have seat belts. The rear seats have seat belts. Everything matches. The headliner is super tight. You can see the dome lights working right now. The sun visors are actually in super nice shape. To follow the theme of the car, they used a factory style steering wheel. This has got an I did it tilt column, so it actually adjusts very nice. If you're somebody that's got, you know, a bigger torso and so forth, and you need room to get in and out of the car, you can do so. One of my favorite parts about this entire interior are these gauges that were supplied by Classic Industries. These gauges are actually custom made, and they say Camaro 50. I'm going to use my flashlight in case you can't see, but it says Goodguys 50. And that's again in reference to the 50th anniversary Camaro. How cool is that? These are one-of-a-kind gauges, and you will know that the odometer states 5,383 miles. As I mentioned earlier, the car has been shooken down, driven, and proven. This is a custom auto sound stereo system that has multiple speakers. I'm going to show you in the trunk where everything is located. They did not want to use a console. They wanted to just go with the factory look. So they picked the something very similar to the factory with this Hurst shifter and white shift ball. At MS Classic Cars, we did one thing to this car. Actually, we did two things to the interior. We changed the pedals. We went with pedals that looked a little bit more error correct. We weren't a fan of the pedals that were in the car before. They just looked a little bit too contemporary for us. So we did add those brand new pedals. And I went on the internet and found, I thought, the perfect floor mat, which said Camaro SS, to really finish off this interior. So this interior, again, is fully equipped. It even has vintage air conditioning and heating system, which works absolutely perfect. It blows ice cold air. So I think that covers most of everything in the interior. Again, the craftsmanship is second to none. So let's go, I'll roll this window back down here to show you how nicely this goes back down. Everything, again, is flush. You can hear how that door shuts. Making our way over to the rear quarter. Again, laser straight here. Look at these lines on this car. Pictures, videos do this car absolutely no justice. Look at how the trim fits. You can barely stick your fingernail in here. It's so precise. Countless hours of work go into something to make it fit like that. Again, brand new glass throughout the entire car. It's tinted. There's no imperfections to mention on this entire car. Again, these magnificent wheels are in perfect condition. Again, in case you missed it, Billet Specialties B-Forged is the name of the wheel. They're a gray matte finish here, polished lip. We've got the BF Goodrich G-Force tires. The tires on the back here, 315, 30, 18s. And once again, you can see those massive 14-inch bare disc brakes with 6-piston calipers. On the subject of these wheels, the underneath was mini tubbed. They were sourced by Detroit Speed, another great name in the business. We've had many cars over the years with Detroit Speed components. Like to definitely give them a shout out for the great work they do. But this car does have Detroit Speed mini tubs. Getting into the back of the vehicle here, you will see that the craftsmanship and perfection, this car's got such an unbelievable stance. Again, look at these gap lines back here. Look how nicely everything is done, where this black kind of is just tapered perfectly into the rear quarter. Again, these were the original bumpers that were tucked, re-chromed, modified to fit. They left the original SS gas cap, which is great. They even put on their company name here, like dealerships used to do back in the day. This was an awesome idea. Absolutely love that. While we're on the subject of the trunk, what I'm going to do here is open up the trunk compartment. I'm going to go ahead and show you how nicely the trunk is done. You can hear it pop when I open this up. Check out the back of this, just in how clean this is. When you study this car, it looks like the factory built it. That's what Jonathan told me. He said he wanted to build the car like the factory would have done. Look at the rubber pieces. Look at the bolts they used, just the finish of what they decided to paint certain parts with. They just did such a beautiful job with this car. Even in this channel here, look at how this line comes right down. It matches perfectly. The channel is just flawless. It flows into this black. All of the gaskets are smooth and done professionally. Again, countless hours of work went in here. They used the correct trunk splatter paint. They made this custom felt matte. Look at the quality of this. It's got a yellow top Optima battery that's got its own custom battery hold down. It's got a power disconnect switch here, so when the vehicle's being stored, you can shut the power right off if you choose to. And underneath the back section here, you will see that they used all of the stereo equipment and tucked it away discreetly in the back, so it's not really visible from the outside unless you get on your hands and knees like we are here. And they have Kicker 6x9 speakers there. They have a Kicker KX 800.5 amplifier. And this box right here is actually a subwoofer. So again, they didn't get crazy with the sound system, but just enough sound to do the job. Again, very tastefully done. Watch how this shuts. I mean, it shuts like a safe. Absolutely beautiful. As we make our way over to the passenger side of the roof, it's in beautiful condition, not one chip, not one imperfection. Again, look at how the stainless wraps around this glass in this body here on this rear quarter. Again, precision. Looking at the rear quarter here, not one chip, not one flaw. Again, no need to really get down and talk about these wheels and brakes again, but I'll just go ahead and run my flashlight over them so you can see how beautiful they are. We did add brand new tires in the rear to this vehicle when we did our service work, and that's mostly because they did a huge burnout video, which took a lot of the tread off the tires, so we had to spend some money and put new tires on the back of the car. Getting over here to the drip rails, look at how laser straight these are. Again, hours and hours of work went into this. Again, this is not your typical 67 bodied Camaro. Look at the glass, the vents, and everything. Again, these windows, they roll up and down as easily as the driver's side did. Again, I'll go ahead and open this door for you. You can see how nicely everything is done. The fit and finish is second to none. These custom seats, the carpeting is beautiful. The door sills are beautiful. Everything in the door jamb is absolutely spectacular. Look at this. Look at how nice and tight everything is. Again, super. I'll go ahead and shut this. Making our way over to the passenger front fender. Again, the door, the fender, everything is flawless. It's fair to say that this vehicle is perfect. I don't use that word very often, and I'm sure if somebody pulled out a magnifying glass, they could find an imperfection or two, but nothing that's visible to the eye quickly as I'm using this flashlight and the lights from my showroom. Truly impressive. Again, front wheel doesn't even have any rash on the front wheel. Lips, like a lot of cars do. Tires, excellent condition. Again, spectacular. Bottom of the front fender is even in beautiful condition. And of course, these SS emblems are the icing on the cake. Now let's make our way to the engine compartment. You can see how nicely the hood opens. Once again, like I showed you in the trunk compartment, look at how beautiful of a job they did with the finish of the back side of this hood. Again, they used the correct kind of satin black. Again, a lot of thought went into the color of the bolts and everything because they wanted to keep it as correct as they possibly could to what it might have looked like back in the day. But if you look at the firewall, that firewall was changed, modified, smoothed, whatever you want to reference it as. We have a few pictures of that in our gallery. The first thing I'd like to mention in here is these beautiful black hood hinges. Again, they're very discreet. They're not too flashy. You can see the clutch reservoir and how nicely it was all plumbed. You can see in the back that little windshield wiper motor. and how nice that is. That is a Bear brake master cylinder. Again, tastefully done. They picked the right colors, nothing too flashy. You can just see how beautiful all of the lines are, how everything is heat wrapped, heat shrink wrapped, a lot of these hoses and so forth. Again, I will mention this is a very, very bad to the bone motor. This is a Edelbrock E-Force supercharged LS3 416 V8 that is pushing 720 horsepower, 695 pounds of torque. Think about that. Go on Edelbrock's website, check it out. It's almost $30,000 just for the motor itself. It's an awesome, awesome motor. It's got these beautiful custom valve covers. They added a complete pulley system by Concept One. That's a great name in the business. You can see how professionally done all this was. You can see a lot of the air conditioning components. This is a Power Master alternator. You can see how they fabricated this whole air intake system here very nicely. Nothing is gaudy, everything is clean. Once again, it looks exactly like it did from the factory if they were to have built this car. Even how they wrapped all the spark plugs for heat purposes and so forth. This radiator here, this is an aluminum radiator. Notice how they painted it black. That's a nice, nice touch. A lot of times people will just leave these raw, and what it does is it kind of changes the theme of the car. This was, I believe, C&R Racing is who supplied this aluminum radiator with these dual electric fans. Concept One also supplied this power steering canister. This car does have rack and pinion power steering, which works excellent. You can just, again, by clearly looking at this engine compartment, see how beautifully everything was done. As we make our way to the undercarriage of the car, the underneath of it was painted with a textured material for durability. Some people would reference that as undercoating, or they might say it's lizard skin or rhino line. They just did that, again, for durability. It looks absolutely beautiful. Although that was done, this car is still mirror quality underneath. Now let's talk about one of the biggest factors of this car, which again separates it from a lot of other first-gen Camaros. This car sits on a Roadster Shop Spec Series full chassis. These cars came with subframes. The subframe was taken apart and so forth. Everything was changed. It was placed on a full chassis. We have pictures that were taken during the restoration process. You can see the chassis on the ground by itself in the raw state. You can see it when they finished it in its finished state. Again, the chassis comes with all the suspension components and everything else, including the rack and pinion steering, a lot of times the braking system, all the suspension parts and so forth. You gotta check that out. So first thing I'm gonna touch base on is these headers. These are Ultimate headers. That's the company who makes them. The headers are actually heat wrapped toward the bottom of the floors to keep the floors cool and everything else. And they connect to a custom TIG welded 3-inch exhaust system with Flowmaster mufflers. It's got a beautiful sound to it. The engine is actually coupled to a Bowler Performance. That's the company who supplied the transmission. Tremec TKO 5-speed. It's a TKO 600 5-speed manual transmission, and it has a spec clutch. The clutch in this car is one of the best clutches money can buy. So again, you cannot say enough about the drivetrain. The power is planted to the pavement through the Curry Enterprises 9-inch nodular posi rear end that has 3.5 gears in the back. They went with the perfect gear selection, perfect transmission, perfect engine. You just can't say enough about this car. The chassis, the brakes, it's got Avco Racing coilovers on all 4 corners. It's got Hypro springs. Again, all this information can be found in our website listing and so forth. It even has a tanks fuel tank in the back, which was all fabricated as well. Again, check out all the details. I really can't say enough about the car. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get inside the car, I'm gonna start it, let you listen to how beautiful it runs, and we'll take it from there. So now I'm back in the inside. I'm going to go ahead and start it. I'm going to do a cold start so you can see how well this vehicle starts cold. It's been a few days since we've started it. It starts right up. It comes right down to idle. This is a car that you can jump in. You can drive it across the country. Again, it's got over 5,000 miles that were put on the vehicle. It's been proven. It's been shaken down. This is a super, super car. On a closing note, I will say if you would like to follow MS Classic Cars, I would highly suggest that you follow us on all of our social media platforms. We are on YouTube. We are on Twitter. We are on TikTok, we do Facebook, Instagram, you name it, we do it. We also have a VIP email blast that goes out to thousands of people. You can sign up for that as well, right on our homepage of our website. Again, MS Classic Cars is not a huge company, but we are doing big, big things. So please make sure to follow us. We appreciate you watching this video. If you have any questions, you can call me directly. You can email me directly. I'm extremely responsive, and I'll get you as much information as I possibly can. So again, thank you for the interest. It's time to let this vehicle talk. That's a cold start, fires right up, comes right down to idle, and it sure sounds beautiful. Thanks again.